Okay, so I'm obviously not sitting at my desk this morning. I decided to err on the side of caution and just take a day to decompress. But I recently read a friend's post on accents, and you know, I don't think I have one, but every once in a while when I talk to my parents who are from Alabama, I'll pick it up again, and it'll go away in about an hour and a half. But anyways, my take on accents, it's not really, I've been to Germany, and I've been to some of the places that were cited, and yeah, I love their languages, but I find it really interesting on how they pronounce the English language. I'll say a lot today, obviously, which annoys the crap out of me. But yeah, that's going to bother me now. There was one point where there's a certain, there's certain, I guess, nationalities out there, especially like the Chinese or the Japanese, who when they learn English and they speak it, it's just got that. Especially Mandarin, for example, someone who's a native Mandarin speaker who speaks English, that to me is probably one of the best adaptations of pronouncing English, and it's really cool to hear it. But my favorite lately has been it has been Australian, and some of the Aussies will get on to me for New Zealand. Um, I do like the way some things are pronounced by the Kiwi, and it's just really cool to be around you know, places that used to be British colonies or had some sort of British influence, and they're starting to just develop their own way of pronouncing the English language. No longer hear the Queen's English in some of these places where they are trying to speak with an American accent. And I get it's very interesting to hear that American is even on that list, because I along with the other the blogger friend of mine, uh, when I saw that, I was like, what is American? And being I'm from a little bitty town north of Birmingham, Alabama, called Pinson, and being from there and then going back there every once in a while, I'll is there's just a little bit, there are annoyances out there. Go anywhere, and see, I'm a big tea drinker, and I think it's more of their mannerisms and how they express themselves than it is how they speak the language. It's how they act, and that's what really, uh, if that's gonna, if there's anything that's gonna annoy you about English in different parts of the country, even different parts of the world, it's not really how they speak it. It's what what they say, what their idioms are. Like up here in Pennsylvania, it's we have a lot of Dutch influence, and you've heard the term Pittsburghese, and different locations. Philadelphia with a big influence from New Jersey. It's the accents themselves I can deal with. It's it's what they say. I can up here if in order to ask someone, are you finished? You use the word yet or still, you know, are you done yet? You know, is a big one. Um, I can't even I can't even do the Pittsburghese. It's they use a lot of "anat," um, sausage "anat," uh, and I think even places like Johnstown, Pennsylvania, are really interesting places to be. Uh, but for the rest of the world and how they speak the English language, because they're native speakers that have they have their own philology. They have their own way of forming the words and forming different tones and stuff like that. It's really cool to hear them adapt it to English. It's not to me. I think it's not really fair for Americans to uh, not go out of their way to to meet to meet other nations halfway. Uh, it's kind of weird saying going out of your way, but if I'm going to go to Germany, I'd like to know the basics and at least present myself to them in their own language. And more often than not, they stop you and say, "Please, you're butchering the crap out of our language, and let us speak yours because we're better at it than you are." So, but yeah, as far as accents go, I'm American Scottish. Some of my family are are in Scotland, and I really think I do agree that that's a very cool accent. Well, it's just a very cool language itself. Listen to their own Gaelic C or even the Welsh. It's pretty cool. Interesting languages that you don't want to see them go away, but you also you know you, you read books like The World is Flat, and uh, you know that there's a global economy, and the only way that these things are going to work is that people you know have some sort of overarching way of communicating. So, it, which do you want more? But on the accents, my um, top accents out there for the English language has to be Mandarin, uh, Kiwi. This is New Zealand, Kiwi. Let's see who else. Maybe even the Japanese is a little bit more lilting way of speaking the English language. Yeah. So as far as myself, my father is also from Birmingham, Alabama, and he never branched out to learn any other languages, and I think that's how I lost mine. Basically, is first getting out of the South and not being exposed to the accent anymore. And learning how to speak other languages just sort of I don't know, it just sort of kind of neutralized a lot of ways that I would speak the language if I was still in the South. So the more global you become, I think it's the more you start to you know equal out how you speak, just because you're trying to form other ways of your pronunciation. You're trying to speak another language, and I think that has a lot to do with it. Uh, now, uh, but I think the more annoying things is just the way the words are put together, and you know the idioms that we use in different locations of the world. But that's my 2 cents on that. I'm sure that in my conversation with my father later on today, and I might even post something then to see if I have taken on some of his speech, which often does happen. But I don't say sweet tay or y'all. I'm a I guess, very watered down, generic person. But that's what I think about it. What do you guys think?